All yours, Margo.
All right. Here we are with the WomELLE cast. We are getting ourselves ready for the awesome event that's coming up October the 20th and the 21st. I'm talking about the Power of Women's Leadership is a virtual conference. As I said, it's taking place on October 20th and the 21st. And every Wednesday, Malyia has us online here talking about women and leadership. And these ladies are outstanding thought leaders. They are part of the WomELLE cast. Let me tell everybody that we are broadcasting live, streaming live from the WomELLE Facebook page. So if you have questions for any of the panelists, feel free to let us know. Put those questions to us. It's very interactive. Let me tell you something about the conference that's coming up. WomELLE is hosting the Power of Women's Leadership. It is a virtual conference set to take place on October 20th and the 21st. It's a ticket event, and your ticket not only gives you access to both days of this conference, but access to 30 speakers. 30. That is amazing. Everybody talking about leadership, true leadership, and women. So you definitely want to get your ticket. This includes live Q&As, professional activities, and networking. Everybody needs to be a part of this virtual conference. Today, our panelists, they are part of the WomELLE cast. Some are moderators. One lady is going to be a host during the conference, and the other two ladies, they are speakers during this conference. This gives you an opportunity to know who they are. So let me remind everybody, they are up and ready for your questions today. So if you're on the WomELLE Facebook page, please post your questions there. Today's panelists, as I said, they are scheduled to speak on October 20th and the 21st. I am your moderator today, Margo Lovett, but let me introduce these ladies who are waiting to talk about leadership. I want to bring to the table Rhonda Kinard. She is going to be a speaker at the conference. Rhonda is a published author. She is a speaker, certified life and empowerment coach. She's a founder of A Life Ignited. And Rhonda is a lady after my own heart. She walked away from corporate after 21 years. She jumped out there on faith. So welcome, Rhonda. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Oh, yes. And next we have Malyia McNaughton. She is going to be a host during the conference. She's a founder and jewelry designer made by Malyia Jewelry. And she's another lady who left her corporate job, and she left that fashion industry, which I understand to be very, very cutthroat, but she's with us today. Malyia's jewelry has been featured in Vogue and Essence magazines. She's also been featured there in the Huffington Post, and those are just a few of the publications. And then I have, oh yes, we wouldn't have it any other way. And then let me bring to the table Sarah Blankenship. She is a business partner of Nicole Overcamp, who is going to run a financial workshop conference on Saturday during the Power of Women's Leadership Virtual Conference. Sarah Blankenship is business partner of Nicole, and they bring to the table Wilcox Financial Group, LLC. Welcome, ladies. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hi.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I tell you what, last week we had one of our listeners ask a question. So we're going to start out this session by answering that question by Tycee Love. Thank you, Tycee, for leaving this question. And the question is, how do you ladies balance the two, work and family? Whoever wants to jump right on in.
I think I'll tackle this one first. So Tycee, yes, absolutely a fantastic question. I'm tackling this because I am a mom. I have a 14-year-old who just started high school, a son, and a 12-year-old daughter. So both super active, scholars, athletes. After this, I've got to go pick one up. And then when that one gets home and eats, we've got to go get the other one. So, you know, absolutely. How do you juggle being a parent, being there, being loving, being present, and also being a powerhouse in your business. And so I would say for me, that goes to, I was thinking about this question. And really what it comes down to for me is just making, for me, it was making my family my priority, period. And then everything that I did in terms of my business, even when I was in corporate America, came down to how can this role support me as a mom, not vice versa, because mom is first for me in my home. And so everything I've done in terms of what type of work I wanted to do, what kind of line of business. I was in corporate America for 21 years in the financial software industry because you could work online, because you had the flexibility of where you could work from home, things like that. So I took advantage of those types of things. But just quickly, if I had to give 3 quick tips to you, Tycee, and anyone else with that question, I would just say, 1, when you work, and when you're mom, be mom. You're not mom on the cell phone checking email. You're not at the soccer game trying to finish an Excel spreadsheet. So really just time block, separate the two. Number 2, let your children know that they are a priority and incorporate them when you can. Let them see what you're doing and be a part of it. For me, in my book, I put them in the book. I put them in the dedication. I put them in the introduction. So they know that everything I'm doing for them. And then number 3 is just make quality time super amazing. You know, block out time for them. If you have more than one child, make it individual time, and just do your best to be with your children when you're with your children. And then when you're at work, be the powerhouse you are at work.
You know what, Rhonda, it sounds like you practice what you preach. I believe that that's the way that you operate.
Yes,
Thanks
ma'am.
for sharing. Thanks for sharing that with us. I know that that's going to help Tycee out. Malyia, let's hear from you, please. How do you juggle this thing of work and family?
Absolutely. So I have a large family and they're very dear to my heart. And I would love to add to what Rhonda said. All her 3 points are right on point. They're exactly what I do as well. I also make sure that I have a lot of nieces and nephews, and I try to bring at least 2 or 3 of them to my pop-up shop so they can see what it takes to run a business from the back end, and also to lead by example, but also to have that quality time. Also, me being an entrepreneur allows me the flexibility. So they have a lot of football games, soccer games, and I'm able to say, hey, I can come, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, as opposed to before where it was like, oh, I have to work. So that definitely is how I block it out as well. The other key point, same what Rhonda said, is to make sure that you separate time. I have learned that if I kill it from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., then if they come over, I don't have to feel guilty on a Saturday and say, hey, no, guys, I have to close my door and work in my office. I can hang out with them and watch movies and totally dedicate. Another thing I would say is I either pick a Saturday or a Sunday and I turn off. Like, I don't check emails. So I allow myself that one day to have guilt-free fun time with my family. So that's how you have to find different ways to incorporate it.
Got you. Sarah, what about yourself? How do you balance this delicate and walk this delicate line sometimes?
I agree with everything that the ladies are saying. Absolutely. I try to schedule time with people who I know might be busy. I know my time gets taken up really quickly with events and teaching and speaking and working. And so I try to block off some time for myself where I know I'm not going to plan anything for work, so that I can have a little spontaneity and a little more free time with family or friends. And I agree, you do need to shut off. You don't want to be half at work, half with your family. You want to be fully engrossed in spending time with somebody, because otherwise I feel like sometimes you might as well not even be there at all if you're not even paying attention to them, because they can see that and they can feel it, especially children. The other part that I think is super important to us in our business is that Nicole and I have each other's backs, and our assistant is here. And so, we've had several things pop up in the last couple of years where we've had emergencies, and knowing that somebody's here to take care of our clients and keep our business going while the other person attends to whatever they have going on is super helpful, because then you can focus on the emergency or your family need and not have to worry about having your clients be without.
Got you. quick question on something that just popped up in my mind for you ladies. When you were building your business, did you build your businesses around being able to actually balance work and family? Was that something major that you considered when you were in the formative stages?
For me, that was the whole reason I built my business. As Malyia said, as an entrepreneur, I mean, that was really the catalyst, right? You know, my son needing to come home early from school and having to ask someone, you know, is it okay if I go get my son? I can't do that. Or just wanting to be at the Wednesday community gatherings or whatever was going on. So I absolutely built my business around the desire to want to have more flexibility, not just for my children, because my life is also, I'm married and I have a mother close by that needs me, and I have my own needs as a woman. So it was the need for all of those things that absolutely made me say I need to be in business for myself, doing what I love, with the flexibility and the framework that allows me to be who I am fully.
Anybody else want to chime in on this before we move to the next question? Okay, we are, oh, go ahead.
I also came from corporate America for a long time, and I did not think that that was something that I needed, the flexibility. However, now that I am an entrepreneur and have gotten used to working for myself, I can't tell you how much I appreciate having flexibility, being able to come in, being able to stay late, not having to ask for permission. I worked in a call center as a manager at a very large bank, and I mean, they're tracking you down to how many times you get up and get a drink or go to the bathroom. And so being somebody who works really hard, it's hard to appreciate that level of somebody watching you when you know you're already working your hardest. And so now I know that my hard work is appreciated by me, and you know, I can reap the rewards of that and not have somebody babysitting my every move.
Wow. I brought that question up because we have people who are listening who are starting their business. They're just launching it. And my strategist always says, build your business around your life, because then it will never feel like work. So that's the reason why I posed that to you ladies. Thank you so very much. Let's get, I want to hear from you leaders about leadership in the world of business in 2017. What does that look like now? Rhonda, let's hear from you.
Okay.
Why not?
Sure. All right. Yeah. So yeah, this is, I mean, leadership, it's funny, I'm doing something on leadership tomorrow. So leadership's been on my brain all week. And, you know, I think in 2017, when I think about leadership and what it looks like now, it really is very much an innovative process and is an ever-changing process. Now, I come from a financial software services industry, so you think technology, you think always innovating. So leadership always had to be on top of what's the new tech thing, what's the new way we're reporting, what's the new way our clients are doing things so we could stay competitive. But I think from a personal standpoint, I think leadership today is definitely more of a personal responsibility to the people under you, to the people who you inspire, that you influence, that you should be inspiring and that you influence on your team. I think we can see a lot of people taking a personal interest in leadership just in how people are running their teams now. It's no longer, hey, I'm on the top of the mountain pointing down, telling you what you should be doing to get up here. But leadership really is a collaborative effort between the person in charge. We're not going to say manager. We'll get into that in a minute. So we're not going to say boss or manager, but the leader and the people who they influence to give their best, do their best, and be their best. I really think leadership is moving more into a personal responsibility to help people to get to the vision, the company goals, and also develop themselves in the process as well.
Absolutely. That's a great point. And I also feel that leadership, like you said, is about a collaborative effort. For me, it's always been about wanting whoever I work with. I collaborate a lot with other creatives, and I always want it to feel like a collaborative effort and never just, you know, this is my project, this is what I want you to do, because I want to be surrounded by people that I trust and that I want their best work from. So I feel like the best leaders that I've had in my corporate career have always been the ones that have made me feel like this is a group effort. And yes, I'm the one leading the ship, but you're the ones that are giving the innovative ideas and really bringing it to the next level. So I think that's the best leader, the one that makes you feel like you're a part of something bigger than yourself.
Yes, yes.
Sarah, what's your take on this?
I think today you just have to live every day and lead by example, especially with all of the social media out there. You're being watched. Everything you say, every comment you have, everything that you're involved in, people can see that, and they're going to formulate an opinion about who you are as a leader, as a business owner. And so I think that it's important to just constantly be putting your best face forward, and also continuing to be involved in areas that you care deeply about. You know, it's not just about running your own business. What else are you doing? You know, are you involved in other areas? Are you serving on boards? Are you giving your time for charity events and other things that you believe in? Because all of that is what people are seeing, and that's going to help them decide whether or not they want to follow you essentially as a leader and be a part of what you're bringing to the table.
Yes, I love what Sarah said about really letting people see you because of social media and all these different things. I mean, people in leading by example, and I think just being transparent as well, because it's not just what you say or do in the office, right? But it is the whole person showing up, and you know, what are you involved in? You know, how are you emulating the very characteristics you want us to display in the workplace? And then that's inspiration for the people you lead too, because they see you going home, volunteering, giving back, being a parent, being a caregiver, and then coming to work and still, you know, rocking and rolling. And so that's inspiration to the people you lead, that wow, this person has the same type of things that we have going on in life. It's not this picture perfect thing. They just come to work, but they're involved. They're doing a bunch of things. And that's inspiration to people to want to excel, because you're showing them it can be done. You can wear many hats and still come to work and do a great job.
Malyia, I see you shaking your head. Chime in on this, please.
Absolutely. I feel that that's a part of your reputation as a business owner. And I think that bleeds over into your actual business, because if your reputation in the business world is that you're a horrible leader, that may influence Facebook reviews, that may influence product reviews based off employees or people who have collaborated with you in the past. So for me, it's really about representation and making sure that you make sure that's cohesive all across the board. For example, on social media, I remember an entrepreneur, I had my page private, and she said, you know, my personal page, and she said, you know, how do you expect people to buy into your brand if your personal page is private? Because nowadays it's no longer separate. Even if what you like, my personal brand or my business is tied into who I am as a person, because my brand is made by Malyia. So my name is incorporated in that. And so she kind of said, like, even if it wasn't like that, if I was in a financial services industry, people still want to know, who am I investing in? If they want to collaborate with me for a product line or whatever it may be, they want to make sure that my reputation matches my brand identity. And so it's important that I don't block people out from that.
Yeah, yeah.
I have to agree with that. Gosh, totally. Everything's transparent these days, everything. And you feel better. Do you ladies agree that you do feel better when you are able to go to LinkedIn, Facebook, and really learn a little bit more about people versus the superficial? We know where they work, we know about their business, but when you can really kind of dig in and know, oh my God, they're a parent, they volunteer here, they volunteer there. How much of a difference does that make to you ladies when you're collaborating with some other person, another company?
It makes a huge difference for me personally. I go before, even when I was asked to host the WomELLE event, I went to Facebook first, and then I just kind of, you know, you kind of browse to get a feel for the company, get a feel for, can I identify, are we on the same wavelength? Because not every collaboration is a cohesive one for your brand. So you want to make sure that this brand that you're reaching out to, or that has reached out to you, a lot of times when people reach out to me, on social media or to collaborate, they've said they went to my social media and they feel that we would make a great partner or be great partners. A lot of the panels that I get asked to speak on, they've explored my personal pages before they even approach me about business. So I think that it's extremely important.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think for me, here's just another example, just to piggyback what Malyia said. I had someone recently sign up to be a coaching client, and I said, well, what brought you here? And she said she looked on my Facebook page and that my car was very clean. That because I was like, what does that even mean? But she saw that I have children that were busy. She sees what I'm doing with them. And she happened to notice from whatever was going on in her mind that my car was clean. But she was able to say, like, this is someone, you know, I would want to coach me because you are a mother, you are busy, you're doing these things, you're keeping it together. But she could not have figured that out and put those pieces together. Yes, if she just went to LinkedIn and just saw my profile page, but she saw me in action. So she was able to put a personality to the name and the profile and say, this is someone who would be a good fit for me. So as Malyia said, partnerships and people wanting to work with you, they have to know, like, and trust you. And nowadays you can do that through social media, and people expect that nowadays as well.
Yes, yes. I think that's one reason why this conference is going to be so important. It lets the world get a better picture of who you ladies are, and why they should collaborate with you, why they should reach out to you all for your services. Next question. What about this thing of leadership versus boss? Is there a difference, or are they just terms that we are tossing about? Is that the boss? Is that the buzzword for right now? Malyia, let's see. You want to take this on?
Sure. So personally, I think whenever I need like a confidence boost or like I'm feeling not so boss-like, I'll say, oh, I'm a boss, to remind myself that I can conquer anything that I put my mind to. But in the respect of if I'm working with someone, I would never turn to them and say, I'm the boss of this, or in that way. But I do think there is a huge difference. I think the way that a boss operates and the way that a leader operates, they're on two different planes. A boss is someone that kind of sits high and kind of looks down on you and needs things to be brought to them and isn't in a collaborative space. Whereas a leader, as we mentioned earlier, and as Rhonda touched on, is someone that comes to you and we work together on this, and they have expectations. They're high expectations, but they're reasonable. They're not reasonable. They set you up for success and not failure. I feel sometimes that the bosses that I've had at previous jobs, they set me up for failure. They gave me projects that they knew couldn't be met in a certain deadline, but they did that because they're the boss and they want to feel that sense of authority. I think a lot of bosses run off of this sense of authority and a power trip, whereas leaders are self-aware and know that they are the leader and the boss, but they don't have to evoke it at any given moment. They don't have to throw it out like a card. So I would say for my personal, whenever I'm feeling a little, down on myself, I'll remind myself I'm the boss. But when I'm working with other people, I'm the leader.
Wow, I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Sarah, I'm sitting here and I'm wondering about you dealing with going to the different tables, meeting tables, and I would imagine there are many days that you and Nicole are the only females in the room. Boss leadership, how do you present yourself in those settings?
There are plenty of times where Nicole and I are the only females in the room. Financial planning is not a female-dominated industry by any means. I think that being a leader is a lot harder than being a boss. I think that all you really need to do to be a boss is to be promoted or to hire somebody, but a leader is a little bit more difficult. You have to have a high level of emotional intelligence. I think that though there's a lot of trainings out there, a lot of it is inside of you, in your charisma, in your values, in your belief system. I think that a leader is somebody, like Malyia said, you're raising other people up. Their success is your success, and you are creating an atmosphere where other people should be succeeding in addition to you or even beyond you, and that's what makes people want to listen to you, want to be around you, want to follow you, and be empowered by you.
I understand what you're saying. Rhonda, you want to chime in on this? When you're dealing with your clients, how do you present yourself as the boss or as the coach, as the leader?
Well, I'm absolutely not the boss. Now, every now and then I remind the people in my home that I'm the boss, but absolutely when I'm working with clients or I'm working through partnerships with other people, it really is collaborative. I've actually turned down management positions because I did not want to be a boss, but I'm definitely a leader. I believe that a leader, as both the ladies said earlier, a leader is absolutely going to bring people with them. They're going to show them the way. They're going to be empathetic. They're going to allow them room to grow, to fail, to make mistakes, to learn, and still empower them to keep going and just try something different. I think a boss, as Sarah said earlier, bosses are definitely like this, like, here's the list of things we have to do, and there's no personal connection to it. Get it done, A, B, C, D, and then I'm going to go report at a meeting if you did it or not. A leader is definitely going to work with you to help you to do what it takes to empower you and inspire and motivate you. And that's not just through the work, but it's, as someone said earlier, it's your charisma. Sarah said that. It's your charisma. It's how you show up. It's having empathy. So yeah, I am absolutely a leader. I want to help people get to the next level in their lives. And I can only do that by taking your hand and walking with you, sometimes pushing you in front because you're too afraid to do it yourself, but absolutely never having the this way, that way, point, you do, I'm on top of you type of attitude. I frown on that. So yeah, I'm definitely in the realm of a leader.
Got you. Now, all three of you ladies come from corporate. These core values that you're speaking of, and to right now, did corporate help form where you are today as far as the way you run your business as a leader versus boss? Anybody want to chime in on that?
For me, absolutely. I knew what I did not want to do. I knew right now I don't have, I'm a one-person team, but I have people that I collaborate with on, contract basis. And I made the decision when I left that I did not want people to feel like they had to clock in or clock out mentally with me, or that I was babysitting them or hovering them. And I've had people say they love working with me. Like my PR manager, he said to me, I love working with you because you give me the space to explore and to give you the information that you've asked me for. I don't, I'm not rigid. I give a very collaborative environment. So I've learned how not to be and how I did not want to operate my business. So I would say that for that, I'm grateful. I'm very thankful. But I would say that's about it.
Yeah, I would say with Malyia, I mean, corporate America, I can count on one finger how many great bosses I had, and it was a privilege and honor to have that be a woman. But I could use the rest of my 9 fingers to talk about, the people who inspired everything good I wanted to do when I was able to influence other people. And so I did see something by Psychology Today, and it said that 1/3 of leaders are born, 2/3 are made. And so that does let us know that, for many people, they're not born, they don't come out of the womb with this innate ability to empower people and inspire and motivate, but it can be learned behavior, whether you learn it from watching people do what you don't want to do, or whether, as Sarah said, there are trainings out there that may miss the mark because a lot of it is the personal development you do. But I think we would all agree that we've all seen examples of what we didn't want from corporate America examples, and we definitely said, okay, keep those things out the toolbox, and then make ourselves better based on how we would want to be treated and how we would want people to respect us. As Sarah said earlier, being clocked for taking a water break or stapling papers, that's not being a leader. You have to give people room to be creative and take time if they need it through the day. So I think we all learned lessons from corporate America that we knew we didn't want to be like that.
Gotcha.
Absolutely. I learned the biggest thing was structure for me from corporate America. I think when you start off, if you're starting off as an entrepreneur and you're a little bit younger, just learning that you got to get up, get dressed, and go to work every day and spend some time there. I think when you work for yourself, it's easy to be like, well, I'm going to take the afternoon off because I can. So just the structure of get up, go to work all day, and then you can go home at night or go play on the weekends. So I think the structure of working all the time was a big thing. Also, just knowing that there's a reason for procedures and processes, and it took us a long time to get all of ours in place, but they help make things be a little bit more turnkey for us. But I've learned, just like everybody else, a lot of what I didn't want. The sort of micromanaging and hand holding that is necessary for a lot of people, but it's not necessary for everybody. So not always having to play to the lowest common denominator is nice.
I sure understand that. You know what, ladies, I think I'm getting the signal that we have a question. Nigelia, if I'm wrong, let me know. If I understand it correctly, someone is looking for a referral to a life coach. Nigelia, can you make that plain for me? I think that's what. Yes. Okay. To all panelists, yes, it looks like we have someone who's looking for referral to a life coach. Now, I know that we have a certified life coach. Rhonda Kinard is here with us, but that brings up another subject. Most of us have coaches. Rhonda, you want to go ahead and take this on first, and then you other ladies, if you all have worked with a life coach before, chime in on this, please.
Yes, well, Miss Love, I think it says Ticey Love. I think that's the name there. Great question. And what I would just suggest as you're searching for a life coach is kind of what we touched on earlier today. I think you should, well, one, you have 30 panelists and that are going to be speakers and all involved in this conference next weekend. So if you just put this information into the WomELLE Power Women Leadership Conference page, I'm pretty sure you'll see a bunch of people who will, chime in there. So I would suggest doing that. When you get people who say, I'm a life coach, and they post their pages, I would go and do exactly what we were talking about in the very beginning of this. I would go and look and see who's a lot like me, who has similar interests. Because one thing I found when I was looking for a coach is it was very difficult to find a mother. Like there would be a coach who was a powerhouse, but they weren't married. They didn't have little children. I also have, real estate. I needed someone whose life looked like mine so that they could relate and guide me in a way that they understood, not that they perceived or heard, it's busy over there. So I would say that when people do respond and you just say, hey, I'm looking for a life coach, you're going to get some people to jump on that. But then go use the power of social media. Go look at people's Facebook pages, check out their sites. Do those personalities resonate with you? Based on what you see, can that person help me? And then reach out that way. So do a little homework first to see who's kind of in line with what you're looking to do, and then, reach out to them.
Would you ladies say that use that as a rule of thumb when you're trying to take on a coach, mentor, strategist? Should we follow that same roadmap? What do you ladies think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think you should have several different ones throughout different periods. If you need a life coach, if you need someone to guide you business-wise, I've had a few and they've been instrumental and also incremental. Like I've needed them because I was about to take on a big project and I needed certain advice. And then there's times where you go to conferences and you get tips from individual people. So I think you just have to do what works for you and get a lot of encouragement. I think that's the basis of a coach, is to get encouragement to take your business to the next level.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Absolutely. And
Sarah, go ahead.
Nicole and I constantly equate financial planning to having a fitness coach. There's information out there online. You could do it yourself, but we don't. Why? And it's all coming down to accountability. You need a financial planner to keep you accountable to your finances. I have a coach to keep me on track for staying healthy and go to the gym, and we have a business coach who keeps us on track for our business. There's people out there who are experts and who can hold you accountable and help you achieve your goals in every aspect of your life. And so, you know, looking on their social media, that's how we found our coaches. My fitness coach, you follow them, you see if they're like you or if you want to be like them, and see if they're a good fit, and then use them.
Sounds like sound advice. I know that's the way I've approached it, and it's always worked out in my favor. So, Nigelia, did I get all of the questions answered? I don't want to leave anything out. Okay. Let's go to the final question here. We're winding down, and that's a good question. That takes us back to the reason why we need to have a really good audience, especially for those folks that are going into becoming entrepreneurs or they're trying to reinvent themselves. Get your ticket. Be there for the virtual event, the Power of Women's Leadership Virtual Conference on October 20th and the 21st, because questions like this, they will be answered. They will be answered. Out of 30 speakers, somebody's going to answer for you. They're going to tell you what you need to hear. Let me wrap it up with one final question here. To be an excellent leader, ladies, out of the many qualities that must be possessed, what's that one quality that you absolutely cannot do without? Sarah, you want to lead us out on this?
I think the most important part is to be humble and be transparent. Like we were talking about the social media before, you need to really let people know who you are and not be afraid to share your personal page, share your personal life. Let them see that you screw up and you do goofy stuff, and you know, you go apple picking on the weekends just like they do, and you're not just all business all the time. They can relate to you, and you can have the same life as they have, and that way they can really connect to you and know who you are.
Rhonda?
I would say that the most important attribute of a leader for me is just the passion. Because if you don't have a passion for people and you don't have a passion to just push through, it's going to be very difficult to lead people and inspire and motivate people. And that's why I think entrepreneurs and us, all of us women here on this panel, including you, Margo, we make fantastic leaders. I think because we have a passion for what we do and we know what it means to push through and keep going and never give up. And even when it's ugly and we look ugly doing it sometimes, we'll still, you know, get ourselves together through the process. It's all a process. So I think you have to have passion to be what people need you to be, and you need passion to bring out the best in others.
I love these answers. Malyia, bring it on around for us, please.
I think confidence would be the one that I would choose, because a lot of times I know, especially as women entrepreneurs, compared to men, we lack confidence. And I think that it's important that you're confident in the fact that you can bring your vision to life and that you can guide people to help you in bringing your vision to life. So confidence would be that one attribute, I would say.
And that's one thing that I wondered about as far as you ladies in business. The people that you encounter, do you find that most of your clients, most of the people that you collaborate with, what's their confidence level as a whole? Do we go into collaborations? Do we go into taking on a coach? Do we go into that with a high confidence level, or am I making that clear? Where will you stand as far as confidence?
I think I know for certain that the people I coach are successful women who tend to have low self-confidence. And Michelle Obama was here in Philadelphia last week at the PA Conference of Women, and she spoke about women having an issue feeling like imposter syndrome, like we don't belong, even when we're in high places in corporations. She said even as first lady, you know, she would show up and be like, oh my God, should I even be at this table? Then, you know, to realize sometimes she was the smartest person at the table. But we do go into a lot of things thinking we don't deserve a seat there, even at the highest levels of our crafts and our professions. So I do see people with confidence as a crutch, and sometimes it stifles them. And so a lot of times it's really building people up to say, you can do this, you can do this. But I do see that exactly what Malyia said. A lot of people do struggle, and women, we do struggle with confidence.
Wow. What about from the financial standpoint, the financial world, Sarah? What do you see there? Same thing?
Same thing. We see a ton of people who lack confidence or just lack the answers that they're looking for. But the people that we most often work with are incredibly confident in the fact that they want to do something. They want to make a change. They're ready to make decisions. They know that they need to make a change to be better. And so while they're not confident in what that entails or what they need to do to get there, they're confident that now's the time they're ready to take action.
Wow. This has been a fabulous conversation. I hope that you ladies enjoyed it just as much as I did. It looks like we had Ticey back with us. Ticey, thank you for joining in on this conversation and asking the question. We had Rhonda Kinard. We had Malyia McNaughton and Sarah Blankenship. Thank you for joining us, ladies. Thank you, thank you. You ladies are giving everybody a flavor and a reason why they need to go to the WomELLE Facebook page. Get that ticket and be a part of the Power of Women's Leadership virtual conference. It's going to take place on October 20th and the 21st. Now, Malyia is going to host. She's going to be one of the hosts. We are going to have Rhonda, who is one of the speakers up on one of those days. Sarah Blankenship, she is the business partner of Nicole Overcamp, who is running a financial workshop on Saturday. So they have given us more than one reason why we should be present as far as our confidence goes. When we commingle and listen to women who are leaders, women who are successful, doesn't that do something for your own confidence? Doesn't that let you say, yes, I can? It does for me. So I always tell people, get that ticket, be a part of the Power of Women's Leadership virtual conference, because if you don't, you're leaving your passport to greatness at home. So I just want to let everybody know that we will be back next Wednesday with another group of ladies who are powerhouses. They are thought leaders. They are part of the WomELLE cast. So thank you for taking time to be with us, ladies. Once again, thank you. It was fabulous. You guys, just as they say, you guys rock. So Margo, Lovett, thank you, Nagilia, who is the head of WomELLE. The reason why any of us are here, the reason why we are growing and taking our rightful place at the boardroom table. Until next weekend, we'll have to say bye-bye and thank you so much.